The Last Survivor, a tale of time travel and zombies. I stepped out of the time machine and the first thing that hit me was the stench. It was putrid, like nothing I had ever smelled before. The sky was a sickly orange color, and the world around me was desolate and barren. As I walked through the empty streets, I realized with horror that the human race had evolved into flesh-eating zombies. They had once been people, just like me, but something had changed them. Something had turned them into vicious monsters. I watched in terror as they roamed the streets, searching for their next victim. I knew I had to be careful if I wanted to survive in this world. I avoided the zombies as best I could, living on scraps of food and water that I scavenged from abandoned buildings. The days turned into weeks, and I realized that I was not alone. There were other survivors, people like me who had managed to escape the virus and the hordes of zombies that roamed the land. But even with a small group of allies, the world was a dangerous place. Together, we fought to stay alive, forming small communities and building shelters to protect ourselves from the dangers that lurked outside. But it was never enough. The zombies were always there, always hunting for their next meal. As time passed, I grew numb to the horror that surrounded me. I lost count of how many times I had to watch a fellow survivor be torn apart by the ravenous hordes. I lost count of how many times I had to flee for my life, praying that I wouldn't become the next meal. I knew that I couldn't stay in this world forever. I had to find a way back to my own time, back to a world that wasn't overrun by the living dead. But even with my time machine, it wasn't easy. It seemed like every time I tried to leave, something would go wrong. Sometimes the zombies would find me before I could activate the machine. Other times, the machine would malfunction and I would end up in the wrong time period. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, I managed to travel back to my own time. But the horrors of that other world stayed with me. I couldn't forget the things that I had seen, the things that I had done to survive. And I knew that it was only a matter of time before the virus that had destroyed that world would find its way to mine. I knew that I had to act fast, to use my knowledge to prevent such a catastrophe from ever happening again. But sometimes, in the dark of night, I can still hear the moans of the zombies and the screams of my fellow survivors. And I wonder if I really made it back at all, or if I'm still trapped in that nightmare world, fighting to stay alive. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.